The big question is 32 years after, what is the state of Nigeria's democracy? Senator, thank you very much for staying with us on the program. Earlier today, Mr. President was speaking to a joint session of the National Assembly, and some have called it the best Democracy Day speech since our return back to democracy since 1999. Now, the president urged Nigerians to embrace future challenges together and keep democracy alive for future generations. But in a country marked by division, what practical steps should follow this rallying call?
I beg your pardon again?
Senator, did you get that question? All right, so I said earlier today, Mr. President was speaking to a joint session of the National Assembly, and some have called it the best Democracy Day speech since our return back to democracy since 1999. The president urged Nigerians to embrace future challenges together and keep democracy alive for future generations. But I'm asking, in a country marked by division, what practical steps should follow this rallying call?
Well, first of all, I agree with the very fact that this is the best Democracy Day speech we had, not for anything, but for the fact that this was someone who came from the trenches and who was once a protest organizer, who was once a political prisoner, who was once a man who was forced into exile. So he knew the consequences of a nation that breaches freedom and democracy. So he knows the consequences of what military rule was all about. So he expressed that in his speech. But where do we move from here if we are to entrench our democracy? What is most important in this country is that we should reform our electoral laws so that we have a more transparent, credible, and free elections. Because it's only on the basis of electing people into position of power and authority through credible means that democracy has its own legitimacy. Secondly, Nigeria being a multicultural and multi-ethnic state, the need for us to operate governance of inclusion, of fairness and equity is very important. And the economic reforms that have been embarked upon need to be followed through so that this country will be sitting on a very strong foundation for this generation and the future generation. And most importantly is that we should have a system that is restructured, because it's clear to us that since 1999 all efforts to restructure the country has failed. So there should be that. In as much as we are seeing an economic restructuring, we should move to political restructuring in the interest of this country so that we can address some of this fundamental default of nationhood that is haunting us for a very long time. These are some steps which I believe we need to take to concretize all that has been said on paper.